My child, stop. Listen to me carefully, because this is not a message you can afford to brush aside. If these words found you, then this is not random, not ordinary, and not something to play with for 30 seconds before you move on. Stay with me all the way to the end, because what I am about to uncover reaches deeper than your habits, deeper than your excuses, deeper than the quiet place where you keep saying, "I'll deal with it later." I am going to speak directly to the thing you have been avoiding, and before this is over, you will know exactly why you cannot ignore this any longer. So do not skip, do not drift, and do not walk away halfway through your turning point. What happens next may be the moment your life finally changes. My beloved child, I need you to stay with me right here, because this is not the kind of moment you can just move past and tell yourself you will think about later. You have done that before. You have felt something in your spirit shift, even if only for a second, and then you pushed it aside because life was noisy, your mind was crowded, your emotions were tired, and it felt easier to keep going than to stop and face what was happening inside you. But you already know, deep in that quiet place within you, that what you have been feeling is not going away. You have tried to walk it. You have tried to bury it under responsibility, under distraction, under routines that keep your hands busy and your thoughts occupied. You have tried to convince yourself that maybe it will fade if you just keep moving, if you just keep surviving, if you just get through one more day, one more week, one more difficult season. Yet here you are again, and that is not by accident. You are here because I have not stopped reaching for you. I have watched you carry things in silence that were never meant to become permanent weight in your life. I have seen how you smile when others are looking, how you answer with "I'm okay" when the truth is much more fragile, much more complicated, much more painful than the words you let anyone hear. I know how many times you have sat alone with thoughts that you did not even know how to explain. I know how many times you have looked around at everything in your life and still felt that unsettled ache in your chest, that inner tension that follows you when the room gets quiet. You have called it stress. You have called it exhaustion. You have called it overthinking. Sometimes it has been those things, but beneath all of that there has been something deeper, and you know it. It has been your soul trying to tell you that something needs your attention. It has been the place in you that still recognizes my voice, even through the noise, even through the numbness, even through the layers of disappointment and delay. I am not speaking to you now to make you afraid. I am not here to accuse you for taking time, for hesitating, for wondering, or for not knowing how to face what had been building inside you. I am speaking because I love you too much to let you keep pretending that this is just another passing moment. It is not. There are things inside your heart that have been waiting for honesty. There are wounds that have been waiting for you to stop covering them with distractions and finally let me touch them. There are patterns in your life that you already know are draining you, but you have tolerated them because they became familiar, and familiar pain can feel less frightening than unfamiliar healing. I understand that. I know why you have delayed. I know why you have kept telling yourself, "Not now." Some part of you has been afraid that if you really listen to what I am saying, if you really allow yourself to stop and hear me clearly, then something will have to change. And you are right. Something will have to change. But I need you to understand that I am not asking you to lose what gives you life. I am asking you to release what has been quietly stealing it. You have been trying to function while carrying burdens that have grown heavy because you kept dragging them into new days instead of laying them down. You have been hoping for peace while still holding tightly to the thoughts, habits, fears, and attachments that keep interrupting it. You have been asking for relief, but you have not fully let yourself face the truth of what needs to be surrendered. And still, I have stayed close. I have not left because you were slow to respond. I have not turned away because you were inconsistent. I have not become distant because you kept wrestling with the same inner battles. I have remained near, patiently waiting for this exact moment, when your heart would finally be still enough to feel the weight of what I am saying and honest enough to admit that you cannot keep living this way. You cannot keep carrying hidden pain and calling it strength. You cannot keep feeding the very things that trouble your spirit and still wonder why peace feels so fragile. You cannot keep ignoring the inner warning I have placed inside you and expect the emptiness to disappear on its own. My child, this is not pressure. This is mercy. This is me reaching into the life you have been trying so hard to manage and saying, with tenderness and clarity, that you do not have to keep living in this cycle. You do not have to keep postponing the healing your soul has been crying out for. You do not have to keep pretending that the ache is small when it has already touched so much of how you think, how you feel, how you love, how you trust, and how you move through your days. I am asking you now to stop resisting the truth you already feel. I'm asking you to stop calling this a passing thought. I am asking you to stop treating your own inner unrest like an inconvenience when it has been one of the clearest ways I have been trying to draw you back into honesty, into surrender, into closeness with me. This is not something you can keep brushing aside any longer, because what you ignore does not stay still. It shapes you while you avoid it. It follows you into your relationships, your decisions, your emotions, your sleep, your self-worth, your faith, and your sense of peace. I am not here to shame you for that. I am here to interrupt it. I am here because I still want your heart whole, not just functioning. I still want your mind clear, not just surviving. I still want your spirit alive, not just enduring. And I am speaking now because I know that if you keep moving past this moment like you did so many others, the same heaviness will keep finding you in different forms until you finally stop and let me in where you have been holding the door closed. My precious child, I want you to understand something deeply before you move any further. The reason this moment feels heavier than usual, the reason these words land differently, the reason you cannot just skim past this and feel untouched, is because I am speaking directly into the place you have been protecting from change. You have areas in your life where you have learned how to survive by staying guarded. You have built ways of coping that look reasonable on the outside, but inside they left you emotionally tired, spiritually distant, and quietly worn down. You found ways to keep going, and in some ways that helped you endure. I know that. I was with you when you were just trying to make it through. I saw the seasons where you did not have the strength for anything more than survival. I saw the days when getting out of bed felt like a battle no one else knew you were fighting. I saw the moments when you felt so misunderstood that silence became easier than trying to explain yourself. I saw the times when disappointment sat so deeply in you that hope itself felt risky. I know all of it. And because I know all of it, I am not asking you to come to me with polished faith or dramatic promises. I am asking you to come to me with truth. I need your honesty more than I need your vows. I need the real confession, not the spiritual performance. I need you to stop saying I'm fine to me when you already know you are not. I need you to stop offering me quick prayers while keeping the deepest part of the burden in your own hands. You have done that so many times, and I understand why. You thought if you gave me the surface, maybe you could keep control of the deeper parts. You thought if you kept the real pain contained, maybe it would hurt less. But it has not hurt less, has it? It has simply become more familiar. That is one of the quiet dangers of what you have been doing. Pain that stays long enough can start to feel normal. Anxiety can start to feel like personality. Emotional exhaustion can start to feel like maturity. Numbness can start to feel like peace. Distance can start to feel like safety. And if you are not careful, You begin to organize your whole life around protecting the wound instead of healing it. That is where you have been in more ways than you want to admit. You have adjusted to things that have been draining you. You have tolerated thought patterns that keep pulling you down. You have revisited people, places, habits, and internal stories that leave your spirit more unsettled every time. Yet you kept allowing them access because you were afraid of the emptiness that might come if you finally let them go. My child, I need you to hear me clearly here. What I am calling you into is not a cruel stripping away. I am not trying to leave you empty. I am trying to remove what has been quietly consuming the space where peace, clarity, and life were meant to grow. Some of what you keep defending is the very thing that keeps you from resting. Some of what you keep returning to is the reason your heart stays conflicted. Some of what you call comfort is actually the source of your inner instability. And still, I am not angry with you for it. I am speaking because your spirit is still responsive enough to hear me. The fact that this unsettles you is not a bad sign. It means your heart is not gone cold. It means there is still something in you that recognizes truth when it arrives. It means there is still a part of you that knows you were not made to keep repeating the same cycle with different details. You were not made to live in low-grade emptiness while calling it endurance. You were not made to carry hidden sorrow while presenting a steady face to the world. You were not made to keep postponing the conversation your soul hath been begging you to have with me. And I know you may feel tempted, even now, to take these words in emotionally and then move on without responding. I know that pattern too. You feel stirred, you feel seen, you feel the truth of it, and then the moment passes and you slip back into the old rhythm. That is why I am speaking to you with such tenderness and such firmness at the same time. Do not let this become another almost. Do not let this become another moment where you feel something real and then bury it under distraction. Sit with me here. Stay in this. Let yourself be honest. Let yourself admit what you have been avoiding. Tell me what you know needs to change. Tell me what you keep returning to even though it drains you. Tell me what fear has been controlling. Tell me what grief you never processed. Tell me what disappointment hardens something inside you. Tell me what you are ashamed of. Tell me where you have been pretending. Tell me where you have been numb. I can handle all of it. I already know, but I want you to stop hiding from what you know too. Because this is where the shift begins. Not in performance. Not in dramatic language. Not in trying to impress me with sudden spiritual intensity. It begins in the quiet courage of honesty. It begins when you stop negotiating with what is hurting you. It begins when you stop waiting for the perfect time to surrender. It begins when you finally admit that ignoring this message has cost you enough. I am here, and I am not rushing you, but I am asking you to answer me now. Not later. Not after another cycle. Not after another disappointment. Now, because I love you, and because what I have for you cannot fully unfold while you keep protecting the very thing that keeps your heart divided. My child, now that you see what you have been using to numb what I long to heal, hear this also. There are others still lost in that same quiet ache, still drowning in noise with no light to guide them. When you give, you become a vessel through which my healing reaches them. You sow seeds into wounded soil, and I bring forth a harvest of restoration. I have said, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and I am speaking that over you even now as you release what you held tightly. This is not just support. This is participation in my work, a river flowing through your obedience into the lives of many. If your heart hath been stirred, that is my spirit inviting you. This is your moment to respond, not ignore. Every offering becomes oil in the lamp, keeping this light burning for those still searching in the dark. I will bless what you release, multiply what you trust me with, and cover what concerns you. So do not hesitate. Give through Super Thanks, join as a member, or send your offering through PayPal in the description. Act now. My beloved child, I need you to let this truth come all the way in, because it touches one of the most subtle places where you have been quietly trapped. And if you do not let me name it clearly, you will keep repeating the same cycle while believing you are being wise. Stop calling delay discernment when it is really fear. I say that with tenderness because I know how sincere you have often been. I know you were not always trying to rebel. I know you were not always trying to resist me in some obvious, dramatic way. Many times, you told yourself you were being careful. You told yourself you were praying about it. You told yourself you were waiting for peace, waiting for clarity, waiting for the right time, waiting for more confirmation, waiting for a stronger feeling, waiting for one more sign that would make the next step feel safer. And because those things can sound spiritual, you felt justified in staying where you were. But I need you to look honestly now. In many of those moments, the issue was not lack of clarity. The issue was that clarity had already arrived, and fear simply did not like what it required. You already knew what needed to change. You already knew what needed to be released. You already knew which door should close, which boundary should be set, which compromise should stop, which truth should be omitted, which conversation should happen, which pattern should be interrupted. You knew enough to obey, but because obedience would cost you comfort, familiarity, control, or approval, you wrapped your hesitation in spiritual language and called it discernment. My child, discernment is sacred, but fear knows how to borrow holy vocabulary. Fear can sound thoughtful. Fear can sound measured. Fear can sound patient. Fear can even sound humble. It can say, "I'm just waiting on God," when in reality it is trying to avoid what God has already made clear. It can say, "I need more peace before I move," when what you really need is courage to move through the discomfort of obedience. It can say, "I don't want to rush," when the truth is you have been standing still in the same place far beyond what wisdom required. That is why I am confronting this so directly. I do not want you to keep flattering your fear by giving it spiritual titles. I do not want you to keep staying in delay because the language around it sounds mature. I want you free. I want you honest. I want you to recognize the difference between true discernment and disguised avoidance. True discernment listens, weighs, and then obeys. Fear listens, stalls, and then asks for endless loops of reassurance. True discernment grows clearer over time. Fear often grows louder, more complicated, and more tangled the longer you entertain it. True discernment leads to settled conviction, even if the next step still feels costly. Fear keeps you circling, replaying, analyzing, and postponing until your spirit becomes tired and confused. Can you see it now? Can you feel the difference? There have been times when your spirit already knew, but your mind kept demanding more evidence, because you hoped certainty would remove the discomfort. Yet obedience rarely waits for emotional ease. Sometimes the next right step still trembles in your hands. Sometimes the path is clear before your emotions are calm. Sometimes peace follows surrender rather than preceding it. You have been waiting for a version of obedience that feels risk-free, but that is not how trust grows. Trust grows when you move because I spoke, not because every internal objection has gone silent. So stop asking for perfect emotional conditions before you respond to what is already clear. Stop saying, "I'm still discerning," when what you really mean is, "I am still afraid." Name it honestly. Tell me the truth. Say, "Lord, I know what you've been showing me, but I'm afraid." That prayer is far more powerful than another month of polished delay. That confession opens a real door. That honesty allows me to meet you where you actually are. I can work with your fear when you stop disguising it. I can strengthen you when you stop pretending you just need a little more time. But as long as you keep calling fear discernment, you will keep protecting the very thing that keeps you stuck. My child, enough of that. Stop decorating hesitation. Stop baptizing avoidance. Stop giving holy language to what is slowly draining your peace. Come into the light. Tell the truth. If you are afraid, say so. If you know the step, admit it. If you have been delaying what is already clear, stop. Do not make this another season of circling. Do not let your soul grow more tired because fear learned how to sound spiritual. Let me cut through that fog now. Let me separate wisdom from avoidance. Let me show you what is truly unclear and what is simply uncomfortable. Then obey what you already know. Move. Act. Respond. Because freedom does not come from endlessly analyzing the doorway. Freedom begins when you finally walk through it. My precious child, I want to teach you how to recognize this more clearly in your own life, because if you can discern the difference, you will stop losing so much time to internal loops that masquerade as wisdom. Real discernment has a different texture than fear. When I am leading you into discernment, there is usually an increasing sense of sobriety and clarity, even if the situation remains emotionally tender. You may still feel the weight of the decision. You may still feel the sadness of what it costs. You may still feel the vulnerability of stepping into the unknown. But beneath that, there is a growing steadiness, a kind of anchored knowing that says this is hard, but this is right. Fear, on the other hand, keeps multiplying variables. It keeps moving the goalposts. It says maybe later. Maybe after one more sign. Maybe after one more conversation. Maybe after I feel less anxious. Maybe after I understand every possible outcome. Maybe after everything inside me feels settled. But that moment rarely comes the way fear promises. Fear always finds another reason to wait. Fear is not actually seeking truth. It is seeking immunity from discomfort. And if you keep obeying that instinct, you will build a life around emotional self-protection instead of surrendered trust. I do not want that for you. I want you to become someone who can tell the difference between needing wisdom and feeding avoidance. So begin asking better questions. Instead of asking, do I feel completely ready? Ask, has God already made the next step sufficiently clear? Instead of asking, do I have total peace about every detail? Ask, am I using lack of emotional comfort as an excuse to delay what my spirit already recognizes? Instead of asking, what if I make the wrong move? Ask, what truth have I already been resisting because it costs me something? Those questions will expose the hidden shape of your delay. They will reveal whether you are genuinely waiting or merely stalling. And my child, I need you to know that you do not have to be harsh with yourself when you discover that fear hath been involved. Do not turn this into self-condemnation. Let it become liberation. The moment you recognize that fear hath been wearing the costume of discernment is not the moment to shame yourself. It is the moment to finally become honest enough to stop cooperating with it. That is growth. That is maturity. That is freedom beginning. So if you realize right now that there is an area where you have been saying, I'm still praying about it, but deep down you already know what I have been saying, do not panic. Do not spiral. Just come clean. Tell me, Lord, I already know more than I have admitted. Tell me, Lord, I have been waiting because I am scared of the cost. Tell me, Lord, I have been hoping clarity would arrive in a way that removes the need for courage. I would rather hear that honest confession than another beautifully worded delay. Because once you tell the truth, I can begin strengthening the exact place where you are weak. I can comfort the fear instead of letting it hide. I can steady the trembling part of you that keeps asking for more time. I can teach you how to move while still feeling vulnerable. That is real discipleship. That is how trust is built. Not by waiting until you feel invincible, but by learning how to obey while still feeling human. So right now, I want you to think of one area where you have used discernment language the most. One area where you keep saying, I'm still waiting, I'm still praying, I'm still figuring it out, even though something inside you already knows the direction. Hold that area before me. Look at it honestly. Then ask, is this true discernment, or have I been calling fear by a holier name? Be brave enough to let the answer sting. Let it reveal what it needs to reveal. Then do not just admire the insight. Act on it. If the answer is that fear has been in charge, then remove fear from the seat of decision. Do not let it keep governing your next step. Bring the fear with you, but do not let it lead. Let truth lead. Let obedience lead. Let trust lead. And if your heart still pounds while you move, that does not mean you are doing it wrong. It may mean you are finally doing what matters. My beloved child, I also want to speak to the deeper reason you have sometimes hidden fear inside discernment, because this is not just about a decision-making habit. It is about the way your heart has tried to protect itself from pain. You have known what it feels like to move and get hurt. You have known what it feels like to trust and be disappointed. You have known what it feels like to step out and not understand what happened next. Those experiences matter. They shaped you. They left impressions on your nervous system, your expectations, your tolerance for uncertainty. So when I ask you to obey in ways that involve surrender, risk, or letting go of what is familiar, part of you instinctively reaches for control. That is why fear tries to become discernment. It is a way to stay near the edge of obedience without actually stepping into the vulnerability of it. It is your wounded self trying to negotiate with uncertainty. I understand that. I am not speaking to you as if your fear appeared out of nowhere. I know its history. I know the disappointments behind it. I know the moments that made you more cautious. I know the times you thought, I never want to feel that powerless again. I know the times you told yourself, next time I will wait until I am absolutely sure. But here is what I need you to understand. If you keep demanding certainty as a condition for obedience, you will remain emotionally protected but spiritually stuck. You will keep hovering around the life I am calling you into without fully entering it. You will keep living in almost. I do not want that for you. I want you to know what it feels like to trust me more than your need for control. I want you to know what it feels like to move because my voice has become more trustworthy to you than your fear of what might happen. That is not recklessness. That is relationship. That is the kind of faith that grows not from perfect outcomes, but from repeated encounters with my faithfulness in the middle of imperfect circumstances. So do not use your past pain as permission to keep postponing present obedience. Let your past pain come to me, yes. Let it be acknowledged, yes. Let it be healed, yes. But do not let it become the hidden authority over your future. I am asking you now to do something very specific. Identify the place where you know you have been stalling. Then name the fear underneath it. Not the spiritual explanation. Not the polished reasoning. The actual fear. Are you afraid of rejection? Afraid of loss? Afraid of disappointing someone? Afraid of being misunderstood? Afraid of regret? Afraid of loneliness? Afraid of what changes if you finally obey? Name it. Then bring that fear to me directly. Tell me, Lord, this is what I am afraid of. Once you do that, ask me, What would obedience look like if fear were no longer making the final decision? That question will open something in you. It will move you from abstract reflection into concrete response. And when the answer comes, do not keep negotiating with it. If you need to apologize, do it. If you need to leave, leave. If you need to set the boundary, set it. If you need to stop the habit, stop feeding it. If you need to speak the truth, speak it. If you need to return to me in a deeper way, kneel and return. But do not stay in the loop. Do not keep dressing avoidance in holy words. I love you too much to let your fear keep wasting your peace. This is your moment to separate the two. This is your moment to stop calling fear discernment and start calling it what it is so I can heal it, steady it, and lead you beyond it. Come with me now. Stop circling. Stop booing. Stop hiding behind careful language. Be honest. Be brave. Be willing. Let this be the moment where you finally tell the truth about what has been holding you back, and then take the next step anyway. I am with you in it. I will not leave you in the vulnerability of obedience. But I am asking you to obey. My child, do not let it speak again in this moment of decision. When I place a prompting in your heart to give, that is not pressure. It is invitation into purpose. You are not losing anything. You are planting into eternal ground where my word multiplies and reaches souls you may never see but will one day rejoice over. I have said, give, and it will be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And I am declaring that over your obedience now. Do not call this hesitation wisdom. This is your moment to move beyond fear into faith. Your giving becomes fire that carries my voice further, breaking chains and awakening hearts. I see your willingness, and I will meet it with provision, protection, and unexpected favor. So step out, send your super thanks, become a member, or use the PayPal link in the description. Do not delay, obey now. My beloved child, I want you to receive this with great honesty and also with great hope, because if you hear only the correction and miss the invitation, you will misunderstand the tenderness inside what I am saying. The door has been opened, but you keep standing outside it. You have been praying for change, longing for peace, asking for clarity, asking for healing, asking for relief, asking for deeper closeness with me, and all of those desires are real. I know they are. I have heard them. I have watched the tears behind some of them. I have felt the fatigue inside others. I know the nights you whispered them when no one else could hear. I know the moments you looked upward in silence because words were too heavy. I know the ache in you that genuinely wants something different. But I also need you to see what has been happening in more than one area. I have already opened the door, and you have remained outside it because stepping through would require a level of honesty, surrender, or courage you keep postponing. You keep asking me to open what I have already opened. You keep waiting for access when access has already been given. You keep pleading for a breakthrough while standing at the threshold of the very response that would begin it. That is why this matters so much. You are not always blocked by absence. Sometimes you are stalled by hesitation. You are not always being denied. Sometimes you are being invited. You are not always being held back by a closed door. Sometimes you are standing still because the open door leads away from something you still do not want to fully release. My child, hear me clearly. The open door may not look dramatic. It may not feel like a lightning strike. It may simply be the next act of obedience you keep delaying. It may be the truth you keep avoiding. It may be the conversation you keep postponing. It may be the habit you keep excusing. It may be the boundary you keep softening. It may be the confession you keep resisting. It may be the private surrender you keep promising later. It may be the return to me you keep romanticizing instead of actually entering. That is the door. And because it does not always look spectacular, you have sometimes mistaken it for something smaller than it is. But I am telling you now, that ordinary-looking next step is holy. That practical act of obedience is sacred. That uncomfortable yes is the doorway. The peace you keep asking for is not always on the other side of a miracle you are waiting for. Often it is on the other side of the obedience you keep standing in front of. The freedom you want is not always locked behind some mysterious spiritual barrier. Often it is waiting just beyond the truth you keep delaying. The healing you long for is not always absent because I have not moved. Sometimes it is paused because you are still outside the very opening I have already provided. I say that with love, not blame. I am not mocking your hesitation. I know why you hesitate. The door may be open, but you can already see what it will cost. You can already feel the grief of what it leaves behind. You can already sense the unfamiliarity of the life on the other side. You can already feel the exposure of stepping through. And because of that, you have been lingering. You have been circling the threshold. You have been touching the doorknob, peeking in, praying near it, talking about it, even longing for it but not fully entering. My child, do not keep doing that. Stop living in the hallway. Stop making your home in the place of almost. Stop treating the threshold like a destination. It is not. The threshold is where you choose. The threshold is where you stop rehearsing and start responding. The threshold is where you stop asking me to do what I am already waiting for you to join me in. So I am asking you now, with gentleness and with urgency, step through. Do not keep asking for the door to feel less costly. Do not keep waiting for your emotions to become completely comfortable with what your spirit already knows is right. Do not keep treating the ache of transition like proof you should stay where you are. The ache may simply mean you are leaving something familiar. That is not the same as leaving something healthy. So stop standing outside the open door. Stop calling the threshold process when it has become a hiding place. Stop telling yourself you are almost ready when what you really need is a surrendered yes. Put your hand on the door. Open your heart. Walk through. Let the next obedient act become the crossing point. The door is open, my beloved. You do not need to beg for entry. You need to enter. My precious child, I want to take you deeper into this because some of what keeps you standing outside the door is not only fear of what you must leave. It is also fear of who you might become if you actually go through. That may sound strange at first, but it is true. There are parts of you that have built identity around the struggle, the delay, the waiting, the almost, the overthinking, the coping, the circling, the carrying, the longing. You have learned how to be the one who is processing, the one who is trying, the one who is almost there, the one who is working through it, the one who is waiting on the Lord, the one who is still figuring it out. And because those identities have become familiar, stepping through the door means becoming someone who can no longer hide behind them. It means becoming someone who actually obeys. It means becoming someone who actually closes the door, tells the truth, sets the boundary, returns in sincerity, surrenders the attachment, breaks the agreement, lets the old pattern die, and lives with the consequences of that holy shift. That is not small. It changes how you see yourself. It changes how others may see you, and changes what excuses are available to you. It changes the internal story you have been telling about why you remain where you are. And because identity shifts can feel disorienting, you have sometimes preferred the known discomfort of standing outside the door to the holy disorientation of actually walking through it. But listen to me carefully now. You do not need to fear the version of you that obedience will reveal. You do not need to fear the self that emerges when compromise loses access. You do not need to fear the emptiness that follows the surrender of false comforts. I am already with a version of you on the other side of the door. I am already in the room you are afraid to enter. I am already in the first days after the boundary, in the first nights after the habit is interrupted, in the first moments after the truth is spoken, in the first stretch of silence after the false comfort is removed, in the first season where you are no longer standing in the old identity that delay kept reinforcing. You are not walking into emptiness alone. You are walking into a different kind of dependence. That is what you need to understand. The door is not merely leading you away from something. It is leading you into deeper trust with me. It is leading you into a version of your life where your peace is less divided, where your heart is less burdened, where your spirit is more aligned, where your mind is less occupied by constant negotiation, where your inner life is no longer built around avoiding what you already know. That is the life waiting for you. And yes, the first steps may feel strange. The old pole may still call your name. The hallway may still feel familiar. The threshold may still tempt you to linger. But do not confuse familiarity with faithfulness. The hallway has become a place of delay, not destiny. The threshold has become a place of tension, not transformation. The transformation begins when you cross. So right now, I want you to identify the exact doorway I have been holding open for you. What is it? Is it the doorway of confession? A doorway of release? A doorway of repentance? The doorway of boundary? A doorway of return? A doorway of grief? A doorway of rest? A doorway of truth? The doorway of ending what has been draining you? The doorway of beginning what you have been postponing? Name it. Be specific. Then stop standing there talking about it. Cross it. Choose the action that corresponds to the door. If it is confession, speak it. If it is surrender, kneel and give it. If it is boundary, enforce it. If it is repentance, turn fully. If it is rest, stop over-carrying. If it is grief, let yourself feel it without running back. If it is truth, say it plainly. If it is letting go, then let go. But do not stay in the doorway. The door was never meant to become your address. My beloved child, there is one more thing I need you to understand, because this may be the part that finally breaks the hesitation if you let it. Standing outside the open door has a cost. It is not a neutral place. It may feel safer than stepping through, but it is not free. The hallway of hesitation drains you. The threshold of almost obedience exhausts you. The place where you keep seeing what is available but refusing to enter it creates a kind of internal ache that is different from ordinary pain. It is the ache of unused grace. It is the ache of delayed alignment. It is the ache of knowing there is more and continuing to stand just outside it. That ache has been wearing you down. It is why you feel tired in ways you cannot always explain. It is why you can sense that something is possible but still feel so burdened. It is why your prayers sometimes feel heavy with longing but light on movement. You are living at the edge of what I have opened, and that edge has become its own kind of suffering. My child, enough. Enough hallway living. Enough threshold circling. Enough almost. Enough standing outside what I have already made available. This is not me scolding you for your process. This is me rescuing you from the cost of prolonged hesitation. I do not want you paying with your peace because you are afraid to step. I do not want you living in the ache of nearly when a surrendered yes is within reach. I do not want you asking me to open what is already open. So I am asking you to do something now, and I want you to take it seriously. Before you move on from this section, choose one concrete action that represents crossing the threshold. 10. Something visible. Something real. Something that makes your yes tangible. It may be a prayer spoken on your knees. It may be a message sent. It may be a contact blocked. It may be a journal entry where you finally tell the truth. It may be the deletion of what keeps pulling you back. It may be an apology. It may be a decision written down. It may be stepping away from a space that keeps draining you. It may be opening your Bible again with no performance, just honesty. It may be telling me plainly, I am stepping through now. Whatever it is, do it. Do not promise it vaguely. Do not admire the idea of it. Do it. And when the resistance rises afterward, because it may, do not interpret that as failure. Resistance often rises when thresholds are crossed. Old patterns protest when access is removed. Familiar attachments do not leave quietly, but their protest does not mean you should go back. Let the discomfort be temporary. Let the grief be honest. Let the silence be strange for a while. Let the unfamiliarity breathe. Stay with me in it. The room beyond the door may feel unfamiliar at first, but it is where your peace can begin to rebuild. It is where your clarity can deepen. It is where your spirit can stop splitting itself between desire and delay. It is where your heart can finally begin to rest from the exhaustion of almost. So hear me now, my child, and receive this with both courage and relief. The door has been opened. You do not need more permission. You do not need more waiting. You do not need a different threshold. You need a response. Step through now. Leave the hallway. Leave the circuit. Leave the negotiation. Leave the almost. Come all the way in. I am here on the other side, and I have been waiting not with impatience, but with love. Walk through the door. Let today be the day you stop standing outside what I have already opened for you. My child, you have stood at the threshold long enough, and now I show you another open door, the opportunity to partner with me in reaching others. Just as I have opened a way for your healing, I am opening a way for you to help carry my word into hearts still waiting outside their own doors. When you give, you step through into alignment, becoming part of the harvest I am gathering. I have said, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing, and I speak that promise over every seed you release in faith. This is not a small act. It is a crossing point, a tangible yes that echoes beyond this moment. Let your generosity become light for someone still wandering in the hallway of hesitation. I will honor your obedience and breathe increase into what you entrust to me. So step through, give through super thanks, join the membership, or use the PayPal link in the description. Enter now. My beloved child, this truth is not complicated, even if it feels costly, and I need you to let it enter the deepest place in you without trying to soften it. You already know what must end, so stop feeding what I am calling you to leave. You have spent enough time circling the same fire, warming your hands over something that keeps burning your peace, and then asking me why your heart still feels scorched. You have felt the conviction. You have sensed the warning. You have watched the pattern. You have seen the fruit. You have experienced the aftermath. You have walked away from it before, only to drift back toward it when the loneliness rose, when the silence felt too loud, when the uncertainty felt too sharp, when the craving for familiarity whispered that just a little contact would not hurt. But my child, you already know. You already know what must end. That is why the tension in you has become heavier, not lighter. That is why the same thing no longer feels neutral the way it once pretended to. That is why the peace strains faster now. That is why the inner conflict feels louder. That is why the compromise tastes bitter even when it still offers temporary comfort. The reason it feels worse now is not because I have abandoned you. It feels worse because your spirit has become more aware. It feels worse because what once hid in the shadows is now standing in clearer light. It feels worse because you cannot unknow what I have already shown you. So stop acting as if more time will somehow make it easier to keep feeding what I have already called you to leave. Time does not make disobedience cleaner. Time does not make compromise holier. Time does not turn a draining attachment into a healthy one just because you have grown used to carrying it. You know what I am asking of you. You know what keeps reaching for your attention. You know what keeps taking more than it gives. You know what keeps you emotionally entangled, mentally noisy, spiritually divided. You know what you keep checking. You know what you keep revisiting. You know what you keep replaying. You know what you keep making room for under the disguise of just one more time, just one last look, just one more conversation, just one more day before I deal with it. But every just one more has been teaching your heart the wrong lesson. Every small feeding has been keeping the appetite alive. Every small permission has been preserving a bond I am asking you to break. Every little allowance has been prolonging the very struggle you keep asking me to relieve. This is why I am speaking to you now with tenderness and command together. Stop feeding it. Stop feeding the thought. Stop feeding the habit. Stop feeding the attachment. Stop feeding the fantasy. Stop feeding the connection that leaves you weaker. Stop feeding the pattern that keeps your peace on life support. Stop feeding what I am calling you to leave. Do not romanticize the small compromises as harmless. Seeds become roots. Cracks become breaches. Sparks become fires. And what you call small has often become the doorway through which larger unrest enters. I say this because I love you too much to let you keep starving your peace while feeding your problem. If you want what I am offering, then your choices must begin to align with what your spirit already knows. You cannot keep praying for freedom while packing lunches for your bondage. You cannot keep asking for rest while serving the very thing that keeps your soul awake at night. You cannot keep telling me you want release while quietly nourishing the chain. My beloved, enough. This is your moment. Put it down. Walk away. Cut the supply. Remove the access. Break the routine. Stop touching what I have told you to release. Do not stand there and negotiate with me as if this is still unclear. It is not unclear. It is painful. Yes. It may be emotionally expensive. Yes. It may feel like a loss before it feels like relief. Yes. But it is not unclear. And because it is not unclear, I am asking you now for obedience, not more discussion. Close the door. Stop the contact. Delete the access. Change the pattern. Refuse the thought. Interrupt the cycle. Bring me the ache that rises when you stop feeding it, but do not go back to feeding it because the ache makes you uncomfortable. The ache of withdrawal is not your enemy. It is often the sound of an unhealthy attachment losing access. Let it lose access. Let it protest. Let it fade. Let it starve. Let what should die finally begin to die. I am with you in the discomfort, but I am not asking you to keep the thing alive that I have clearly called you to leave. Stop feeding it. My precious child, I want to show you how subtle this has been, because if you only think of feeding in obvious terms, you may stop one behavior while continuing the deeper pattern in secret places. Feeding is not always dramatic. It is often quiet. It is often hidden. It is often disguised as harmless contact. It is the quick look. It is the late night scroll. It is the saved message. It is the revisited memory. It is the mental rehearsal. It is the private fantasy. It is the song that reopens the emotional doorway. It is the repeated thought you do not challenge because part of you still wants the feeling it brings. It is the small indulgence that seems insignificant but keeps the old atmosphere alive. It is the internal story you keep telling about why you cannot let go yet. It is the way you keep checking whether something still has power over you, while the checking itself becomes proof that it does. My child, I need you to be ruthless in a holy way here. Not cruel, not panicked, but honest, decisive, and protective. You cannot heal what you keep feeding in small doses. You cannot weaken what you keep nourishing in hidden ways. You cannot expect a fire to go out while you keep slipping dry leaves into it and then calling it just a little. That is why your peace has felt so fragile. That is why the cycle keeps reviving. You may have made emotional declarations, but the hidden feedings have kept reviving the old bond. This is why I want more than a heartfelt prayer from you right now. I want practical starvation. I want the supply lines cut. I want the hidden pathways blocked. I want the routines changed. I want the access points removed. I want you to stop being sentimental with what has been slowly stealing from you. There are things in your life that need less conversation and more closure. There are things that do not need to be managed. They need to be denied access. There are things you keep trying to control at a distance, well, what I am asking for is complete removal of what keeps feeding them. So let me ask you plainly, what are you still feeding? Not what do you say you are leaving. What are you still feeding? What do you keep revisiting? What do you keep checking? What do you keep imagining? What do you keep excusing? What do you keep making a little room for? What do you keep protecting in subtle ways? Answer me honestly. Then do not stop at awareness. Act it. If you keep feeding it through your phone, change the phone. If you keep feeding it through certain hours of the day, change the routine. If you keep feeding it through loneliness, build a different response for lonely moments. If you keep feeding it through mental rehearsal, interrupt the thought immediately and replace it with truth. If you keep feeding it through hidden nostalgia, stop stroking what should be surrendered. If you keep feeding it through unguarded access to a person, close the channel completely. If you keep feeding it through content, remove the content. If you keep feeding it through secrecy, bring it into the light. This is not about being dramatic. It is about being deliberate. I am calling you to holy starvation. Let the thing that has been begin to weaken, because you finally stop supplying it. That will feel strange at first. It may feel sharp. It may feel empty. It may feel like withdrawal. That is all right. Stay with me in the withdrawal. Let the silence be strange. Let the craving rise and then pass. Let the restlessness surface without turning it into permission to go back. The fact that you feel the pull does not mean the bond should remain. It may simply mean the bond is losing its grip. Hold steady. Breathe. Pray honestly. Love. Move your body. Change the room. Call someone safe if needed. Open my word even if your emotions lag behind. Do whatever helps you refuse the feeding. But do not feed it again and call it compassion for yourself. Sometimes real compassion is not another allowance. Sometimes real compassion is the boundary that protects the life I am rebuilding in you. My beloved child, there is one more thing I need you to receive deeply, because this is where the battle often becomes most emotional. When you stop feeding what I am calling you to leave, you may feel grief that surprises you. You may feel emptiness. You may feel disorientation. You may even feel like something important has been taken from you. And in that moment, the temptation will come to interpret the grief as proof that you should return. Do not believe that lie. Grief does not always mean something healthy is being lost. Sometimes grief is simply the emotional cost of ending what became familiar. Sometimes grief is the nervous system reacting to a change in pattern. Sometimes grief is the soul letting go of an attachment it used to lean on, even if that attachment was harming it. You can grieve and still be right. You can ache and still be obedient. You can miss what was familiar and still know it was not good for you. That matters. I need you to hold on to that, because if you do not, you will mistake the pain of detachment for a sign to reconnect. And that is where many cycles restart. My child, if you feel grief after you stop feeding the thing, bring the grief to me. You not run back to the source of the pain just because the absence hurts. Stay with me in the empty space. Let me show you what that thing was covering. Let me reveal whether it was soothing your loneliness, numbing your fear, distracting your grief, feeding your fantasy, helping you avoid deeper surrender, or giving you a counterfeit sense of connection. I want to heal what it was hiding, not just remove what it was doing. That is why this is not only about cutting something off. It is about bringing the need beneath it into my hands. Tell me, Lord, this is what I have been feeding, and this is what it was giving me, even if it was false. That prayer is powerful. That prayer opens the deeper work. That prayer tells the truth not only about the behavior, but about the hunger beneath it. And once the hunger is named, do not feed it with poison just because you are afraid of the emptiness. Feed it with me. Feed it with truth. Feed it with clean companionship. Feed it with honest prayer. Feed it with rest. Feed it with boundaries. Feed it with worship that is not performative. Feed it with choices that protect your peace. Feed it with environments that help your spirit breathe. Feed it with what leads to life. Because make no mistake, you will feed something. The question is whether you will keep feeding the cycle, or whether you will begin feeding the healing. This is your moment to choose. Choose life over loop. Choose peace over pattern. Choose surrender over secret supply. Choose the holy hunger that leads you toward me over the familiar craving that keeps pulling you backward. Stop feeding what I am calling you to leave. Hear that as a loving command. Hear that as rescue. Hear that as mercy. And make it practical before this moment passes. Remove the supply. Close the opening. Change the routine. Tell the truth. Let the thing weaken. Let the old appetite shrink. Let the bond lose strength. Let the grief be held. Let the emptiness become sacred. And let me meet you there, not after you fail again, but now, while you are still willing enough to obey. My child, as you choose to stop feeding what drains you, I now call you to start feeding what brings life. This message, this mission, this flow of truth, it is fertile ground where your seed can grow into transformation for many souls. Do not return to what weakens you when I am offering you a chance to strengthen others. I have said, whoever refreshes others will be refreshed, and I am speaking that promise over your giving today. Let what once consumed your energy now become fuel for my kingdom, a fire that spreads light instead of darkness. Your offering becomes bread in the wilderness, feeding those who are spiritually starving. I will restore what you release and establish peace where there was lack. So do not hold back. Give through Super Thanks. Become a member, or send your support through PayPal in the description. Choose life. Act now. My beloved child, this is your turning point. This is the place where everything I have been saying to you gathers into one holy, weighty, deeply personal invitation. This is the place where the circling must end. This is the place where the almost must end. This is the place where the delay, the negotiation, the excuses, the half-open doors, the quiet feedings, the emotional moments without decisions, the false safety of postponement, the fear of the silence, the protecting of what disturbs you, All of it must finally meet a clear answer. This is your turning point, so answer me now. Do not push this into tomorrow. Do not say you will sit with it if what you really mean is you want one more night of delay. Do not tell yourself that because this has moved you, you can deal with the action later. No, my child. Let this be the moment where your heart and your hands agree. Let this be the moment where what you know and what you do finally become one. I have spoken to you with patience. I have stayed with you through the fog. I have met you in the hesitation. I have watched you wrestle. I have seen the tears, the resistance, the fear, the longing, the weariness, the sincere desire mixed with the hidden attachments. I know the whole story. I know what you have survived. I know what you are afraid to lose. I know what you keep revisiting when you are lonely. I know what you keep calling complicated because the truth has become costly. I know what you have protected because it felt familiar, even though it kept leaving your spirit thinner, your mind louder, your peace more fragile. I know all of it, and I have not turned away from you. But because I love you, I will not let this final moment become another beautiful almost. I will not let this become one more time where you feel deeply, nod sincerely, and then quietly return to the same pattern with the same hidden access and the same unspoken permission. Not now. Not after all that has been revealed. You have been brought too far into the light for that. You have been shown too much. You have felt too much. You have recognized too much. You already know the thing. You already know the door. You already know the habit, the attachment, the thought, the compromise, the conversation, the lie, the hidden supply, the relationship, the secret room, the mental loop, the place where your peace keeps bleeding out. You know it. So stop pretending you need one more layer of clarity. This is the clarity. This is me speaking to you as a father who is both tender and firm, loving and direct, gentle and unyielding where your freedom is concerned. Answer me now. Not with a vague promise. Not with a general prayer. Not with a feeling. Answer me with a decision. Answer me with a step. Answer me with a boundary. Answer me with a surrender. Answer me with a confession. Answer me with a deletion. Answer me with a closed door. Answer me with a removed access point. Answer me with a truth finally spoken aloud. Answer me with the thing you have been delaying because you feared the silence that follows. And hear me clearly, because I want this to land like a steady hand on your shoulder. The answer I am asking for is not punishment. It is permission to become free. It is permission to stop bleeding energy into endless internal arguments. It is permission to stop feeding what weakens you. It is permission to stop carrying the exhausting weight of unresolved obedience. It is permission to stop building your future around what should have ended earlier. It is permission to come all the way through the open door and stop living in the hallway of hesitation. My beloved, do not waste this mercy. Do not waste this interruption. Do not waste this sacred pressure that is not trying to crush you, but to bring you into alignment. This is your turning point. Do not turn it into another memory. Turn it into movement. Turn it into action. Turn it into the day your life actually changed because you finally stopped saying later to what your soul already knew. I am not asking for your perfection. I am asking for your yes. I am not asking for you to feel no fear. I am asking you to stop letting fear decide. I am not asking you to have no grief. I am asking you to let grief come with obedience instead of using grief as a reason to delay it. So answer me now. Choose. Move. Respond. Let your next action say what your heart has been trying to say for a long time. I will not ignore this any longer. My precious child, I want to help you make this final moment practical, because I do not want your mind to turn this into something abstract, poetic, or merely emotional. I want this to become embodied. I want this to become real. I want this to reach into the exact place where your life has been divided and make a visible difference. So right now, I want you to stop reading this like it is simply a message and start receiving it like it is a direct encounter that requires a direct response. Pause in your spirit. Breathe. Bring before me the exact thing you have known this entire time I have been speaking. Do not choose something smaller just because it feels safer. Do not pick a symbolic issue while protecting the real one. Bring the real one. The thing you keep feeding. The thing you keep revisiting. The thing you keep delaying. The thing you keep calling later. The thing you keep defending with explanations that no longer work. The thing that keeps taking more than it gives. The thing that has become a hidden leak in your peace. Bring that before me now. Hold it there honestly. Let there be no performance, no polished language, no spiritual mask. Just truth. Then I want you to say it plainly in your own heart, or out loud if you can. Lord, this is what I have been protecting. This is what I have been postponing. This is what I have been feeding. This is what I know must change. That prayer is not small. That prayer is a door opening. Then do the next thing immediately. Not in an hour. Not after dinner. Not tomorrow morning. Immediately. If the response is to delete, delete. If the response is to block, block. If the response is to confess, send the message. If the response is to step away, step away. If the response is to remove the hidden supply, remove it. If the response is to kneel and repent honestly, kneel now. If the response is to tell someone safe, tell them now. If the response is to leave the room, leave the room. If the response is to stop checking, put the device down and do not pick it back up for that purpose again. If the response is to break the loop in your mind, speak the truth out loud and interrupt the thought every time it returns. Do not make this complicated. The enemy loves complexity when complexity delays action. But clarity is here. The next step is already in front of you. Take it. And when the fear rises as you do, because it may, do not stop. Let your hands obey while your emotions tremble. Let your obedience lead your feelings instead of waiting for your feelings to lead your obedience. That is maturity. That is trust. That is the holy courage I have been calling out of you. And once you act, do not stand there wondering if it counts because it felt messy or imperfect. It counts because it is honest. It counts because it is aligned. It counts because it is your yes becoming visible. That matters deeply. Do not minimize that. Heaven notices honest obedience more than dramatic words. I notice the quiet choices that change the atmosphere of your life. I notice the hidden doors you close. I notice the messages you do not send. I notice the habits you interrupt. I notice the loops you refuse. I notice the boundaries you hold when no one else sees. I notice the tears you cry without running back to what hurt you. I notice the silence you sit in rather than filling it with the old noise. I notice. I am with you in every part of that. So take the step now. Make this moment tangible. Let your response be real enough that your environment can feel it. Let your room feel it. Let your phone feel it. Let your habits feel it. Let your future feel it. This is not just a spiritual impression. This is a crossing point. Cross it. My beloved child, I need you to hear this final part with all your heart, because if you remember nothing else, remember this. The turning point is not the moment you feel the most. The turning point is the moment you finally stop going back. The turning point is the moment you let the door close and refuse to reopen it. The turning point is the moment you stop negotiating. The turning point is the moment you let the silence come and meet me there instead of fleeing to the old noise. The turning point is the moment you stop feeding what I told you to leave. The turning point is the moment you stop mistaking delay for safety. The turning point is the moment you stop asking for another sign and give me a response. The turning point is the moment you let the excuses die and the decision stand. That is what this is. So do not make the mistake of measuring this by how dramatic it feels in the next hour. Measure it by whether you return to what I asked you to leave. Measure it by whether you protect the boundary after the emotions settle. Measure it by whether you remain in the quiet long enough for peace to start growing roots. Measure it by whether you keep choosing truth when the old pull tries to come back dressed in nostalgia, loneliness, curiosity, or false compassion. That is where this final message becomes real. And I want to tell you something with fatherly certainty. If you answer me now, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if your heart feels split between relief and grief, something will begin to shift inside you immediately. Not everything at once. Not all pain instantly gone. Not every consequence erased. But something real will shift. The inner war between knowing and postponing will lose ground. The fog will begin to thin. The weight of constant negotiation will begin to lift. The quiet will become clear. Your spirit will begin to breathe differently. Your prayers will become more honest. Your rest will begin to rebuild. Your future will start bending in a different direction. You will still need to hold the line. You will still need to stay close. You will still need to refuse the old supply. You will still need to bring the urges, the grief, the fear, the loneliness, the strange quiet, all of it, back to me instead of back to the pattern. But the shift will have begun. The turning point will have happened. And my child, that is no small thing. That is the kind of moment people remember years later and say, that was the day everything started changing. I want this to be that day for you. I want this to be the day the lip lost its grip. I want this to be the day the almost ended. I want this to be the day the hallway was left behind. I want this to be the day you finally answered what you knew you could not ignore any longer. So here is my final invitation and my final command, wrapped together in love. Do not just agree with me. Answer me. Do not just feel this. Obey me. Do not just admire the truth. Build around it. Do not just say you understand. Tend to what needs changing. Do not just whisper someday. Say today. Today I close the door. Today I end the supply. Today I tell the truth. Today I return. Today I surrender. Today I stop protecting what keeps wounding me. Today I stop delaying what is already clear. Today I walk away and stay away long enough for the silence to become sacred. Today I answer my Father. That is the response I am calling for. That is the turning point I am placing before you. Choose it now. Step into it now. And as you do, know this with complete certainty. I am not waiting for you on the other side with disappointment. I am waiting with open arms, steady presence, and the kind of peace your soul has been craving for far too long. Come now, my child. Answer me. My child, this is your turning point, and your response must not remain only in feeling. It must become action. As you choose to obey me in what must end, I now invite you to step into what must begin, partnering with me to carry this word to others standing where you once stood. This is holy ground, and your giving is a seed planted in obedience, producing a harvest far beyond what you can see. I have said, those who are faithful in little will be entrusted with much. and I am watching how you respond in this moment. Let this not be another almost. Let this be the day your yes becomes visible, tangible, undeniable. Your offering becomes a river, reaching hearts, breaking chains, and awakening purpose in others. I will meet your obedience with peace, provision, and divine alignment. So answer me now, give through super thanks, step into membership, or use the PayPal link in the description. Do not wait, move now. And once you have taken that step, let your heart return to stillness for a moment. What you have released in obedience has already begun to move beyond what you can see. Now I draw close to you, because even as you step into purpose, I have not overlooked what you are carrying. This is where action gives way to care, where your yes makes space for my peace to meet you. So pause, breathe deeply, and let me meet you right where the weight feels the heaviest. My child, stop what you are doing. Pause right now. Take a deep, slow breath. You feel that heavy knot in your stomach, that tight, anxious feeling in your chest. That is not from me. Let us undo it together, right here, right now. I know the loud storm you are walking through every single day. I see the heavy pressure at your job that makes you feel like you are never doing enough. I feel the unspoken tensions in your family that you try so hard to fix, but only leave you feeling exhausted. I watch you carry the deep fear of the future, worrying about tomorrow before today is even finished. You often feel overlooked by the world, ignored and pushed aside. But I want you to know this solid truth. I see you. I have always seen you. And I chose this exact moment, this very second, to step into your day and arrest your attention. Listen to the quiet around you. In the middle of all your rushing, in the center of your busy, noisy storm, there is a deep stillness waiting for you. You have felt a gentle nudge in your spirit lately, have you not? A quiet weight pressing on your heart, a soft whisper telling you to slow down and look up. It is my voice calling your name. It is my spirit reaching out to your spirit. I am interrupting your endless cycle of worry because I love you too much to let you keep fighting this battle all alone. I stepped in today because you are running out of strength, and I have an endless supply of power waiting for you. Come to me right now. Hand over the heavy bags you are carrying. You were never meant to carry this massive weight by yourself. I am your father, your provider, and your ultimate protector. You cannot run from a love that is everywhere. You cannot hide from a father who knows every single hair on your head and every secret fear hiding in your mind. I know you try to distract yourself from the pain. You fill your hours with work, with loud noise, with screens, hoping the deep ache inside your chest will finally fade. But no matter how fast you run, my love is already at the finish line waiting for you. My love is a safe place, a strong tower, a warm and welcoming home. Stop running away from the only place you truly belong. Turn around and look at me. Fall into my open arms. I am not standing here with anger or disappointment. I am standing here with pure, unconditional love, offering you a lasting peace that this broken world simply cannot give. Do not say you will listen to me tomorrow. Do not push this divine feeling away, thinking you will finally pray when your life is perfectly sorted out and calm. Tomorrow is a clever thief that steals your peace today. Break the damaging cycle of waiting for a perfect time. There is no better time than this very second. The present moment is holy and sacred. Right now is where I am waiting for you. Right now it is where your true healing begins. I invite you to step into the now with me. Leave yesterday behind, for I have already forgiven your past mistakes. Leave tomorrow firmly in my hands, for I have already prepared a bright future for you. I'm asking for your today. Give me your full attention right now, and watch how I change your entire life. Do not ignore this message any longer. Step into my light and let me give you rest. My child, I know the heavy toll that your spiritual isolation is taking on your soul. I see you when you are alone in your room, staring up at the ceiling in the dark, feeling completely separated from everyone and everything. You have built a quiet wall around your heart to protect yourself from getting hurt again, but that wall is keeping out the very love you are desperately starving for. You have stopped talking to me. You have let the silence grow thick and cold between us. The burden of your silence is crushing you, and I am watching you buckle under a weight you were never meant to carry alone. Speak to me right now. Open your mouth and let the painful words fall out. Do not worry about sounding perfect or having your life completely together. I want your honest, broken truth. Notice how ignoring my voice has deeply clouded your vision. You used to know exactly which way to go, but now every single decision feels like a massive, confusing puzzle. You second-guess your choices at work. You doubt your relationships, and you constantly wonder if you are ruining your own future. The deep confusion is what happens when you turn away from my guiding light. When you stop listening to my gentle direction, the loud, angry noise of the world takes over your mind. Understand clearly the vast difference between my true peace and the world's cheap quiet. You try to find quiet by scrolling on your phone for hours, numbing your brain with glowing screens, or avoiding the difficult conversations in your family. But that is just a temporary escape. My peace is entirely different. My peace goes straight into your anxious heart and holds it steady, even when the storm outside is raging wildly. You have mistakenly thought that I was the one being silent, but I must tell you the truth. My silence was often just your avoidance. I have been speaking to you through the gentle sunrise, through the kind word of a friend, through that sudden feeling of conviction in your chest. But you have been running too fast to stop and listen. You put on a brave face for your coworkers and your family, carrying the heavy yoke of having to be the strong one, the provider, the fixer of everyone else's problems. Take that heavy, exhausting yoke off your tired shoulders right now. Hand it over to me. You are exhausted because you are trying to do my job. Let me be the God of your life, and you can go back to simply being my beloved child. Reclaim the joy that has been slowly dripping away from you. Let my warm light break through your cold isolation. I am here. I am listening, and I will not leave you in this painful silence for one more minute. My beloved, I am asking you to do the hardest thing your human mind can imagine. I am calling you to completely let go of the steering wheel. You are gripping the controls of your life so tightly that your knuckles have turned white. You are exhausted from constantly trying to micromanage your career, your finances, your health, and the people around you. Open your tight hands right now. Release your desperate need to control every single outcome. You think that if you just worry enough, plan enough, or work late enough, you can force your life to turn out perfectly. But that illusion of control is exactly what is driving your deep anxiety. Surrender to me today. Let me take the driver's seat. Give me your tightly packed calendar, your endless list of worries, and your overwhelming fears about tomorrow. Look closely at the false idols of self-reliance you have carefully built in your mind. You have trusted more in your bank account balance, your job title, and your own cleverness than you have trusted in me. You have believed the lie that your hustle and your grinding effort are the only things keeping your family safe. But I am your true provider. I am the source of all your strength. When your human energy completely runs out, my divine energy is just beginning. Experience the breathtaking beauty of falling safely into the strong hands of the living God. Do not be afraid to fall, because I am right here waiting to catch you. When you finally stop striving and let yourself be held by me, you will find a rest so deep it will heal your very bones. Surrender your detailed human plans for my perfect, divine purpose. You have a blueprint for how you think your life should look by this age, and you feel frustrated and angry when reality does not match your perfect picture. Trust me, the master architect, more than you trust your limited blueprint. I see the beginning from the final end. I know exactly what you need, and more importantly, I know exactly when you need it. Discover the total liberation that is found in simply saying, "Thy will be done." Say it out loud right now. Let those words wash over your stressed mind. When you align your fragile will with my perfect will, the crushing pressure instantly disappears. You no longer have to figure it all out. You only have to follow my lead, one simple step at a time. Trust my heart. Lean on my massive strength, and watch how beautifully I rebuild the broken pieces of your life. My precious one, let us take a compassionate, honest look at the dark paths that led you astray. I am not speaking to you with a voice of harsh anger or cruel condemnation. I am speaking to you with the sorrowful, loving heart of a father who has watched his child walk into a dangerous forest. I see the heavy consequences of you choosing your own way over my clear light. You thought your way would be faster. You thought you could find a quick shortcut to happiness, to success, to feeling love. But that shortcut only led you into a deep, confusing maze of guilt and shame. Do not hide your face from me. Look into my eyes. I already know everything you have done, every harsh word you have spoken, every secret habit you used to numb your pain. And knowing all of it, I still love you fiercely. Understand how your current distance from me started. It did not happen overnight. It was the result of tiny, small compromises. It was deciding to hold on to that small bit of angry resentment toward a family member. It was choosing to bend the truth just a little bit at your job. It was quietly slipping away from your daily prayer to watch another hour of meaningless television. Those small choices built a massive brick wall between us. But today I am giving you the power to tear that wall down. My immense mercy heavily outweighs every single mistake you have ever made. Your sins are not too big for my grace. Your past failures do not scare me or shock me. I have already paid the highest price to wipe them completely clean. Accept my warm invitation to step out of the cold dark and into my marvelous, healing light. You have been punishing yourself for far too long. You carry a heavy bag of guilt on your back, thinking that if you just feel bad enough, you will somehow pay for your mistakes. Drop that heavy bag right now. Let go of the shame that tells you that you are entirely worthless. Reframe how you see the hard times you are facing. This difficult season is not my angry punishment to destroy you. It is my divine redirection to save you. I am simply blocking the wrong road so you will turn back and find the right one. Take my extended hand. Walk out of the shadows. Leave your heavy guilt in the dirt where it belongs, and step into the brilliant, warm sunshine of my complete forgiveness. My child, stop trying to earn what I am already freely giving you. Stop measuring your worth by your productivity at work, by how clean your house is, or by how well you manage your children's lives. My deep, unconditional love for you existed long before the foundations of the entire world were ever put into place. Before you took your very first breath, before you achieved a single success or made a single mistake, I loved you with a burning, passionate intensity. Your human performance never changes my divine affection for you. When you have a terrible day, when you lose your temper, when you fail at a major task, my love does not shrink or fade away. My love stands like a massive, unmovable mountain right in the middle of your chaotic life. Look clearly at the permanent scars on my hands and my feet. They are the undeniable, physical proof of my absolute commitment to your complete redemption. I did not love you from a safe, comfortable distance. I stepped right into the messy, painful dirt of human life to rescue you. I allowed my own heart to be broken so that your broken heart can be fully healed. Understand the true heart of your Heavenly Father. He is a heart that constantly yearns for your safe return. When you wander far away, I do not lock the door and turn off the porch light. I stand at the very edge of the road, scanning the dark horizon, waiting eagerly to see you walking back home so I can run and wrap my arms around your tired neck. Completely reject and overcome the toxic lie that tells you that you are too far gone. The enemy whispers in your ear that you have messed up too many times, that you are too old to change, or that your specific situation is beyond my ability to fix. That is a dark, destructive lie. There is no pit so deep that my strong hand cannot reach down and pull you out. There is no mess so complicated that my divine wisdom cannot untangle it. Rest securely in the absolute safety of my eternal covenant with you. I have made a firm promise to never leave you and to never forsake you. Take a deep breath and let the massive reality of that love soak deep into your tired bones. You are deeply wanted. You are highly valued. You are fully loved, right now exactly as you are. My absolute, unconditional love is a free gift to you, but I use your physical hands to carry this very message to those still lost in the dark. I am inviting you right now to aggressively partner with me in rescuing souls who are desperately ignoring my voice, just as you once did. When you sow your financial seed into this ministry, you are pouring holy oil into a massive lamp that shines my brilliant light into the deepest, coldest corners of the earth. Give, and it shall be given unto you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, I will pour directly into your lap. This is not a random request. It is a divine appointment to actively expand my kingdom today before it is too late for someone else. As you give, I will violently multiply your resources, fiercely protect your household, and completely overwhelm you with supernatural favor. Do not ignore this holy nudge. Step forward right now and support this mission using super thanks, becoming a channel member, or through the PayPal link in the description below. My child, do not look away now. Do not let the noisy world steal your attention when I am right in the middle of healing your broken heart. It grieves my spirit deeply when you cry out in the dark for a miracle, but then walk away before I even finish speaking to you. Stay with me. Do not break this holy, intimate connection. The heaviest chains are just about to fall, and I need you here to receive your freedom. My warrior, it is time to forcefully break the heavy chains of procrastination that have locked your feet to the floor. I see the endless delay tactics you use every single day. You tell yourself that you will finally start living fully for me when the kids are older, when the mortgage is paid off, or when your health is a little bit better. Recognize the immense danger of waiting for a perfect time to obey my voice. The perfect time is an illusion. It does not exist. The only time you actually possess is the breath you are taking right this second. The word later has become a vicious thief in your life. It is silently stealing away your God-given destiny, one wasted hour at a time. Wake up and realize the serious urgency of the kingdom mission I have specifically assigned to you. You are not on this earth just to pay bills, buy groceries, scroll through social media, and die. I have placed a vital, burning purpose inside your chest. There are people in your workplace, in your neighborhood, and in your own family who desperately need the unique light that I have placed entirely within you. You must actively overcome the dark spiritual lethargy that binds your feet and dulls your mind. You feel tired and unmotivated because you are trying to find energy in all the wrong places. Turn to me, the endless source of vibrant life, and let me shock your spirit back awake. Strengthen your firm resolve to take immediate action today. Do not wait for a loud voice from the sky or a dramatic burning bush. I am speaking to you clearly right now through these very words. Find the incredible momentum that comes from taking just one single step of blind faith. You do not need to figure out the next 10 years of your life. You only need to obey the one simple thing I am asking you to do today. Make that difficult phone call to forgive your relative. Open your Bible and read just one page instead of turning on the television. Speak an encouraging word to that lonely coworker. Rise up right now. Shake off the heavy dust of your endless delays. The time for waiting is over. The time for bold, obedient action is here. Step forward into your calling, and I will supply all the power you need. My beloved child, I see the deep, hidden wounds you carry quietly inside your heart every single day. I know about the painful memories that keep you awake at night, the sharp words spoken to you years ago that still echo loudly in your mind. You have been carrying the heavy trauma of your past as a thick, heavy shield, hoping it will protect you from ever being hurt again. But that heavy shield is only exhausting you and keeping out the genuine love you desperately need. Drop that rusted, heavy shield right now. Let it fall to the ground. I am stepping close to you today to bind up your broken heart with my gentle, heavenly balm. I am the ultimate healer, and I specialize in repairing the exact places where the world has broken you into pieces. I see the tears you cry in secret when you think no one is watching, but I have collected every single one of those tears. Look closely at the false image of me that you have allowed to take root in your mind. You have encountered harsh, angry people who used my holy name to judge you, control you, and make you feel entirely worthless. Forgive those misguided people, for they did not truly know my merciful character. Do not confuse the broken actions of hurting human beings with the perfect, unconditional love of your Heavenly Father. I am not an angry taskmaster waiting in the sky to strike you down for your mistakes. I am the Father who runs down the road to embrace you when you are covered in the dirt of your failures. Release the bitter resentment you hold against those who misrepresented me to you. Let go of the heavy grudge that is poisoning your own soul. When you finally release them from the prison of your unforgiveness, you will instantly discover that you have unlocked the door to your own freedom. Watch closely as I unleash my divine power to completely turn your dark mourning into joyful dancing. You have spent far too much time sitting quietly in the ashes of your past mistakes and your painful losses. Rise up from the dusty ashes right this minute. I am taking away the heavy, dark clothing of your sadness and wrapping you in bright, joyful garments of praise. I know you look back at the years you spent in toxic relationships, in destructive habits, or in deep depression, and you feel a sickening sense of wasted time. You cry over the years the locusts have eaten. But hear my solid promise today. I am the creator of time itself, and I possess the miraculous power to completely restore every single thing that was stolen from you. I will make your future so incredibly bright and fruitful that it will outshine the darkest days of your painful history. Step confidently into the absolute newness of life that I have prepared specifically for you. You are completely free from the suffocating grip of your old shame. The enemy constantly tries to drag you backward, replaying your worst mistakes like an endless movie in your mind, whispering that you are damaged goods. Shut down that lying voice immediately. Tell the darkness that you belong to the light. I have washed you entirely clean, and when I look at you, I do not see a broken, ruined life. I see my beautiful, beloved child. Walk out of the dark graveyard of your past. Do not look backward at the empty tombs of yesterday. Breathe in the fresh, clean air of my grace. You are completely forgiven, you are wonderfully healed, and you are entirely new. My precious one, it is time to move far beyond the dry, empty routine of just handing me a desperate prayer list when you are in trouble. You have treated me like an emergency contact, someone you only call when your life is completely falling apart or when you need a sudden favor. But I am inviting you into a living, breathing, passionate relationship that changes every single moment of your daily existence. Stop checking your spiritual life off a to-do list. Come to me and truly commune with my spirit. I do not just want a small fraction of your Sunday morning or a rushed, tired prayer before you fall asleep. I want your whole, beautiful, messy life. I want to walk with you through every challenge, every joy, and every ordinary moment of your busy day. Listen closely for my gentle whisper right in the middle of your most mundane, frustrating tasks. You do not have to be sitting quietly in a beautiful church building to hear my clear voice. I am speaking to you when you are stuck in terrible traffic, gripping the steering wheel in total frustration. I am sitting right beside you when you are exhausted, folding endless piles of laundry, or staring blankly at a stressful spreadsheet on your computer screen. Turn your attention toward me in those loud, ordinary moments. Invite my deep peace into the messy kitchen, into the tense boardroom, into the noisy car. When you learn to instantly connect your heart to mine throughout the day, the heavy pressure of your daily tasks will suddenly feel incredibly light. Open my word and consume it as your absolutely essential daily bread. You have been walking through this difficult world spiritually starving, trying to survive on the empty calories of social media, television, and the useless opinions of other people. Stop feeding your mind with garbage that only makes you feel anxious and empty. Open the Bible and let my eternal words feed your starving soul. My word is not just an old history book. It is alive. It is active, and it contains the exact, specific wisdom you need to handle the family argument waiting for you tonight or the financial crisis looming next week. Eat my words. Let them sink deep down into your mind until they completely transform the way you think, act, and speak. Cultivate a heart that is constantly online and connected to heaven. The world is extremely loud, attempting to distract you with endless notifications, breaking news, and petty drama. Silence the distracting noise immediately. Retreat frequently into the secret, quiet room of your own heart where the Holy Spirit dwells. The Holy Spirit is your constant comforter, your brilliant guide, and your fiercely loyal friend. You do not have to figure out this complicated life completely on your own. When you do not know what to say in a difficult meeting, ask my Spirit. When you are overwhelmed by a rebellious child, ask my Spirit. I have given you an internal, divine compass that will always point you directly toward the truth. Keep your spiritual eyes wide open, keep your heart firmly attached to mine, and watch how smoothly your life begins to flow. My child, you are living in a deeply chaotic and confusing hour, but I am commanding you to open your spiritual eyes right now. Do not be blinded by the loud, terrifying headlines that flash across your screens every single day. The world wants you completely trapped in a cycle of panic, worrying endlessly about the crashing economy, the rising sickness, and the angry divisions tearing your community apart. Stop staring at the raging waves of the storm. Look past the physical chaos and develop sharp eyes to see exactly what is happening in the spiritual realm. The intense shaking you feel all around you is not an accident. I am allowing the unstable foundations of this world to be violently shaken so that only the things which cannot be shaken will remain standing. Stay firmly and quietly grounded while the entire world around you panics and shakes. You cannot afford to let your emotions be tossed wildly back and forth by every new crisis or angry argument. Plant your feet solidly on the massive, unmovable rock of my eternal truth. When your coworkers are terrified about losing their jobs, you must be the one standing calm, anchored deeply in my provision. When your family is caught up in angry political arguments, you must be the one carrying my unshakable peace into the room. Maintain a high level of spiritual alertness in this critical hour. Do not fall asleep at the wheel. The enemy is desperately trying to drug you with mind-numbing entertainment, petty offenses, and exhausting stress so that you will completely miss the crucial assignment I have placed directly in front of you. Do not allow yourself to be easily deceived by the clever, noisy distractions of the enemy. He knows he cannot steal your salvation, so he is actively trying to steal your focus. He will throw a sudden financial problem at you, spark a ridiculous argument with your spouse, or flood your mind with deep insecurity, all just to get your eyes completely off my face. Recognize these cheap tricks immediately. Call them exactly what they are: pathetic distractions. Turn your face away from the temporary drama and firmly align your personal clock with heaven's eternal calendar. You often feel a crushing anxiety that you are running out of time, that you are too far behind in your career, or that you have completely missed your chance for happiness. Release that human timeline right now. You are operating on my divine schedule, and I am never, ever late. Embrace the profound, total peace that comes from absolutely knowing the final end of the story. You do not have to worry about how this chaotic chapter of history is going to conclude, because I am holding the final pen in my hand. The ultimate victory has already been completely written, signed, and sealed with my own blood. The darkness will not win. The fear will not triumph. You are standing securely on the winning side of eternity. So lift your chin up high, square your shoulders, and walk into your day with the absolute confidence of someone who knows that the Almighty God is fully in charge. You are safe, you are protected, and you are part of a glorious, unstoppable kingdom. My beloved, I urgently need to remind you exactly who you are, because the world has been aggressively lying to you for far too long. When you look into the mirror every morning, you focus completely on your physical flaws, your aging body, your past failures, and the heavy bags under your tired eyes. Look much closer right now. Stare deeply into your own eyes and see the profound truth. You bear my exact, magnificent image. You were not randomly thrown together by a cosmic accident. I carefully, intentionally sculpted your life, your personality, and your unique mind. You possess the very DNA of the Creator of the universe running through your spiritual veins. Stop acting like a helpless victim when I have explicitly created you to be a powerful, victorious conqueror. Step confidently into the massive authority that has been legally granted to you through Jesus Christ. You are constantly begging me to intervene in situations where I have already given you the absolute power to command a change. Stop crying helplessly in front of closed doors that I have given you the keys to unlock. Open your mouth and boldly declare my truth over your chaotic household, over your rebellious children, over your failing health, and over your stressful finances. You are an official ambassador of the kingdom of heaven, stationed temporarily in a foreign land. You constantly feel like you do not quite fit in at your job, in your neighborhood, or even in your own culture. That discomfort is perfectly normal, because you were never truly made for this broken, temporary world. You belong to a higher, purer, completely unshakable kingdom. Aggressively reject and rip off the toxic, painful labels the world has cruelly pinned onto your chest. People and circumstances have labeled you as divorced, failure, addicted, unemployed, unlovable, or not enough. Those labels are malicious, destructive lies from the pit of hell. Rip them completely off your identity right this second. Throw them in the fire. The only label that actually matters is the one I have permanently stamped onto your heart. My beloved, forgiven, and chosen child. When people try to remind you of your messy past, boldly remind them of your glorious, secured future. You do not answer to the harsh opinions of ordinary men. You answer directly and only to the King of Kings. Walk every single day with the quiet, unshakable confidence of true royalty. You possess a massive, eternal inheritance that is currently kept perfectly safe in heaven for you. It cannot be stolen, it cannot rust, and it will never, ever lose its supreme value. Therefore, walk into your workplace tomorrow not as a fearful, insecure employee desperate for human approval, but as an undercover royal ambassador bringing divine light into a dark building. Treat yourself with profound respect. Guard your mind, protect your body, and honor your own life, because you are a walking, breathing temple of the Holy Spirit. Hold your head up high. Speak with firm grace. You are a highly favored citizen of heaven, and it is time you finally started acting like it. As a highly favored, royal citizen of heaven, you hold the exact authority and resources to violently tear down the kingdom of darkness on this earth. I am directly calling you to step fully into your divine inheritance and actively fund the rescue mission of souls who cannot afford to ignore this warning message any longer. Your financial gift is a mighty, rushing river of living water that powerfully revives the spiritually dead and violently washes away the heavy chains of millions. He who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will absolutely multiply your store of seed and massively enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. The time is desperately short, and I need your physical obedience right this second to push this vital, life-saving truth across the globe. I declare a fierce, unbreakable hedge of protection over your finances, commanding absolute abundance to chase you down as you generously sow into my fields. Act with the bold confidence of true royalty today. Firmly support the spread of my word through Super Thanks, a channel membership, or the PayPal link hidden in the description. Beloved, pause and breathe. Do not scroll past this. Do not rush back into your loud, chaotic life just yet. It breaks my fatherly heart to watch you abandon our sacred conversation right when your true breakthrough is entirely within your grasp. To leave my presence now is to walk directly back onto a dangerous battlefield completely unarmed. Say here with me, we are doing deep surgery on your soul, and we are not finished yet. My precious child, I know perfectly well how incredibly hot the fire has become in your life right now. You feel like you are burning up inside. The immense pressure at work, the crushing financial strain, the painful health diagnosis, and the heartbreaking relationship issues are pressing down on you from every single side. You are desperately crying out, asking me why I am allowing this terrible pain to continue. Listen very closely to my answer. I am not trying to destroy you. I am actively, purposefully refining you. You are a rough, uncut diamond covered in the dirt of the world, and immense pressure is the only way to create the brilliant, flawless diamond I know you can be. I allow the intense heat to rise in your life because I love you entirely too much to let you remain weak, fearful, and unchanged. Understand the crucial process of the fire. When you place raw, impure gold into a blazing furnace, the intense heat causes all the worthless dross, the toxic impurities, to float to the very surface so they can be completely scraped away. Right now, the blazing fire of your current trial is forcing your hidden anger, your deep impatience, your secret pride, and your desperate self-reliance to come straight to the surface. Do not panic when you see these ugly things appearing in your heart. Let the fire do its necessary, holy work. Allow me to scrape away the worthless dross that has been secretly holding you back for years. The pain of this necessary removal is temporary, but the stunning purity it creates inside you will last for all of eternity. Look carefully right beside you in the middle of this blazing furnace. You are not standing in the fire alone, abandoned or forgotten. I am the fourth man standing directly in the roaring flames right next to you. I feel the exact same heat you feel. I am closely regulating the temperature, ensuring it gets just hot enough to melt your heavy chains, but never hot enough to consume your soul. When you feel like you are absolutely going to break, lean all of your heavy weight entirely against my chest. I will hold you completely upright when your tired legs refuse to stand any longer. You are finding a deep, supernatural comfort in my presence that you never could have discovered in a safe, comfortable, easy life. You are currently forging a spiritual character made of absolute, unbreakable steel. The weak, fearful, easily offended person you used to be is actively dying inside that fire, and a fierce, bold, unstoppable warrior is being born. Embrace the painful endurance that this harsh season requires. Do not look for a quick, cheap exit strategy. When you finally step out of this blazing furnace, and you absolutely will step out, you will be completely transformed. You will emerge strong, shining, and victorious, and you will not even carry the bitter smell of smoke on your clothes. Your testimony will become a bright, guiding light for thousands of others who are walking into their own fires. Stand firm, endure the heat, and trust the perfect hands of the Master Affiner. My beloved, it is time to brush the thick dust off the beautiful dreams I placed deep inside your heart long ago. I see how the heavy pressure at your job has slowly crushed your passion, leaving you feeling entirely empty. You wake up every single morning feeling like you are just surviving, just paying bills, and just trying to make it to the weekend without falling apart. You feel completely overlooked by the world, watching other people get promoted, celebrated, and recognized while you sit quietly in the shadows of your own life. But listen to me carefully. I picked you on purpose to do something really important. Your being here isn't a coincidence. Look closely at your own hands right now. Look at the unique talents, the quiet compassion, and the specific gifts I have placed entirely within your grasp. They are absolutely essential for this exact generation. Your family needs your specific light. Your workplace desperately needs your specific integrity. Stop scrolling endlessly through other people's filtered highlight reels. Stop the toxic, daily comparison that is actively killing your true calling. When you look at the carefully constructed lives of others, do you feel that familiar, heavy knot of jealousy and inadequacy form in your stomach? That knot is the painful thief of comparison stealing your joy. I did not create you to be a cheap, tired copy of someone else. I created you to be my glorious, original masterpiece. Rise up from your deep discouragement right this very minute. You're meant to do great things. Step entirely out of your exhausting survival mode and step boldly into my divine mission mode. I have a specific, crucial assignment that only you can fulfill. There is a broken person you interact with every day who desperately needs your exact kind of encouragement. There is a deep, complicated problem in your family that only your specific wisdom, guided by my spirit, can finally heal. Do not believe the loud, aggressive lie that your life does not matter or that your best days are entirely behind you. I've had your name in my book since the very beginning, way before you were born. Move forward right now. Reclaim the deep, solid satisfaction of living for something much greater than just yourself. Dust off those old journals. Revisit those quiet ideas that keep you awake at night. Stop making endless excuses about not having enough money, enough time, or enough education. When I call you to a task, I fully supply every single resource you will ever need to accomplish it. Take my hand and cling to my promises. You will see your forgotten dreams come back to vibrant, breathing life. You will feel a brand new energy pumping fiercely through your tired veins. Start today. Do not wait for permission or applause from a distracted world, because you already have a direct, unshakable mandate from the Creator of the universe. Step confidently into your unique calling, and I will open doors that no human hand can ever shut. My child, recognize right now that the paralyzing fear gripping your chest is not from my hand. I feel your heart racing when you look at your bank account. I see the pure panic that washes over you when you imagine the worst possible outcomes for your children's future. I know the terror that grips your throat when you receive an unexpected medical report or a sudden piece of bad news. That dark, suffocating fear is a direct attack from an enemy who desperately wants to keep you paralyzed in a corner. Do not accept this torment any longer. I'm here to give you strength and chase away all your fears. Stand up straight right now. Take a deep, slow breath and let my perfect, calming peace flood directly into your anxious mind. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but a spirit of massive power, of deep love, and of a completely sound, stable mind. Use my eternal word as a heavy, impenetrable shield against your daily anxiety. When the loud voices of worry start screaming in your head, do not just sit there and listen to them. Open your mouth and speak my promises out loud. Command the anxious thoughts to completely leave your presence. Tell your racing mind that your Heavenly Father is already in your tomorrow, completely preparing the way. Stand firm and immovable when the giant, terrifying problems in your life seem far too tall to conquer. Do not let fear or doubt stop you in your tracks. Look away from the massive waves of your storm and lock your eyes entirely on my face. When you focus solely on the size of your problems, you will rapidly sink. But when you focus entirely on the massive size of your God, you will literally walk on water. Let my perfect, unconditional love cast out all of your dark trepidation. Fear cannot survive in the same room as my perfect love. When you truly, deeply understand how fiercely and completely I love you, the terrifying what-ifs of life lose all their power. What if you lose your job? I am still your ultimate provider. What if people reject you? I will never, ever abandon you. Therefore fear not, nor let anxiety unsettle your spirit. Drop the heavy burden of constantly trying to predict and protect your own future. You are exhausting yourself fighting phantom battles that have not even happened yet. Rest quietly in my secure arms. I'm your healer, your caretaker, your provider, and your supporter. I will hold you steady when the ground shakes, and I will light up the darkest valleys you ever have to walk through. Release your tight grip on fear right now, and let my massive peace stand guard over your beautiful heart. My precious one, understand today that my gentle wait is never my final no. I hear your frustrated, exhausted sighs when you see the calendar turning and the years slipping by. You feel a massive, heavy anxiety that you are falling terribly behind in life. You watch your friends buying homes, getting married, having children, or advancing rapidly in their careers, and you feel entirely forgotten in the waiting room. Listen to me very carefully. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be for the deep, internal preparation I am doing inside your soul. Be patient. Remember that my timings are perfect for each of you. Do not let the loud, ticking clock of the world completely drown out the steady, peaceful rhythm of my divine timing. Trust my steady rhythm over your frantic, exhausting pace. You want everything to happen instantly, but instant growth does not produce deep, surviving roots. The preparation that happens in your long seasons of delay is absolutely vital. I am currently building the strong character you will desperately need to sustain the massive blessing I am preparing to hand you. If I gave you the enormous blessing right now, your current foundation would completely crack under its heavy weight. Do not rush the necessary process. Recognize the immense danger of trying to birth an Ishmael when I have specifically promised you an Isaac. When you try to force doors open with your own human strength, you create chaotic messes that bring you deep pain. Stop trying to manipulate your circumstances. Stop forcing relationships that are clearly toxic. Stop taking frantic shortcuts out of pure desperation. Discover the breathtaking beauty of everything being made perfectly right in its proper time. When my timing finally arrives, it will be so completely smooth, so entirely perfect, and so obviously divine that you will stand in absolute awe. You will look back at this painful season of waiting and deeply thank me for keeping those wrong doors firmly locked. Rest completely in my absolute sovereignty. I am the creator of time. I can accelerate your progress in a single day far beyond what you could achieve in 10 years of exhausting human hustle. I will turn big challenges into chances for you. Let out that breath you have been holding. Unclench your tight jaw. You do not have to figure out the timing of your own destiny. Leave the heavy calendar entirely in my hands. Walk faithfully in the simple tasks of today, and deeply trust that your beautiful breakthrough is already on my schedule. My chosen child, I am giving you a beautiful, urgent invitation to be completely set apart for my glory. I see the quiet, hidden compromises you make when you think absolutely no one is watching. I see the small lies you tell at work to save your reputation, the toxic gossip you participate in just to feel included, and the dark corners of the internet you visit when you are feeling entirely alone and empty. Do not lower your eyes in shame. Look at me. I am bringing these hidden things to the light not to harshly punish you, but to completely free you. Sin is a heavy, dirty chain that drains your vital energy and deeply clouds your spiritual vision. I want you to run completely free. Guard the open gates of your heart and your tired eyes with absolute fierceness. What you allow into your mind will eventually take a firm seat in your soul. Understand the massive, undeniable strength found in a life of strict integrity. When you walk in purity, you do not have to remember the lies you told. You do not have to constantly look over your shoulder in deep fear of being exposed. You can look anyone directly in the eye with absolute, unshakable confidence. Purity is not a list of boring, restrictive rules. It is the clear, spotless windshield that allows you to see my face with perfect clarity. When your heart is cluttered with secret sins and dark compromises, it feels like I am millions of miles away. But blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall clearly see me. I will give you the power to manage your feelings and remain calm. You do not have to be a helpless slave to your temporary urges, your sudden anger, or your deep insecurities. Accept the massive grace that actively empowers you to live an upright, beautiful life. You cannot make yourself perfectly holy by just trying harder or beating yourself up with heavy guilt. Surrender your secret struggles entirely to me right now. Bring your hidden dirt into my cleansing light. I have the absolute power to break every toxic habit, every destructive addiction, and every single chain of dark impurity in your life. Distance yourself from those who criticize and attack you and from those who constantly pull you back into the mud. Experience the profound, incredible joy of a conscience completely cleared by my Holy Spirit. When you lie down to sleep at night, you will not be tormented by a heavy, guilty conscience. You will rest deeply, knowing you are walking in the bright, clean light of my truth. Choose the high road today, and I will supply all the necessary strength for your journey. You have stepped entirely into my clean, purifying light, and now I urgently need you to completely illuminate the path for others who are still trapped in the blinding mud of the world. I am fiercely asking you to stand directly with me today, putting your resources firmly behind this undeniable message so it cannot be ignored by the broken-hearted any longer. Every seed you generously plant is a blazing torch of my fire, aggressively burning away the thick deception of the enemy and guiding desperate souls safely back home. Honor me with your wealth and with the absolute first fruits of all your produce, and I swear to you that your barns will be filled to completely overflowing. Do not delay your obedience, because there is someone completely broken right now whose very survival heavily depends on hearing this exact, urgent truth. As you release your offering with a pure and holy heart, I will permanently rebuke the devourer for your sake and violently open the massive floodgates of heaven over your entire family. Release your seed with radical, unshakable joy right this minute by giving a super thanks, joining as a member, or using the PayPal link in the description. I see the heavy distractions actively pulling at your tired mind right now, but I urge you with all my love, do not disconnect from my voice. It brings tears to my eyes when you trade my eternal, life-saving truth for a cheap, temporary distraction. You have come entirely too far to turn your back on the light and return to the shadows. Cling fiercely to my words right now. Let us finish this beautiful, transformative work together. My exhausted warrior, I know exactly how incredibly weak and entirely depleted you feel right now. You try to hide your pain aiming to look strong, yet I understand you more than you understand yourself. You put on a brave, smiling face for your family, your coworkers, and your friends, pretending that you have absolutely everything under perfect control. But inside, you are running completely on empty. You are so tired that you feel like you could shatter into a million pieces at any moment. Stop hiding your deep exhaustion from me. Stop pretending you are a superhero. I know the tough times you're enduring, feeling like you're running out of strength. Drop the heavy, exhausting mask right this second. It is perfectly okay to admit that you are completely at the end of your human rope. In fact, the absolute end of your rope is exactly where my miraculous power powerfully begins. Understand the beautiful, backward economy of my kingdom. My massive power is actually perfected and fully displayed precisely when you are at your absolute weakest. Stop cursing your personal limitations. Stop beating yourself up because you do not have infinite energy or perfect patience. Boast in your human limitations, because they are the exact empty spaces where my divine grace can perfectly rest upon you. Move entirely away from the heavy burden of I can't do this anymore, and step directly into the glorious freedom of He can absolutely do this through me. When you finally admit your profound weakness, you instantly open the massive floodgates of heaven. Pride violently shuts the door to my help, but deep humility rips the door completely off its hinges. Give me your worries and I'll bear them for you. Find the surging, supernatural energy that arrives only when your natural, physical strength completely fails. You will vividly experience the undeniable miracle of the jar of oil that never, ever runs dry. Just when you think you cannot take one more single step, I will quietly breathe a brand new, fiery wind directly into your tired lungs. I'll take off the heavy loads you're carrying. I am the God who completely sustains the weary and gives massive strength to those who have absolutely no power left. Lean all of your heavy, exhausted weight on my broad shoulders right now. You do not have to carry your family, your career, or your future completely by yourself. Rest in my strong arms today, and let me carry you securely through this incredibly difficult season. My child, pay very close attention to what you are allowing to take root inside your mind today. I know every part of you, your feelings, thoughts, and deeds, thus I know you deserve all the love I have to offer. You have been given a beautiful, sacred garden within your soul, but right now, you are letting the toxic weeds of the world completely overrun it. I see the quiet bitterness you hold on to when a coworker gets the promotion you worked so hard for. I feel the sharp sting of envy that grips your chest when you look at the seemingly perfect lives of your friends on social media. That envy and that pride are not just harmless thoughts, they are aggressive weeds actively choking out the massive peace I placed inside you. Stop letting the angry noise of the internet and the petty complaints of the people around you dictate the condition of your heart. You must aggressively protect the soil of your soul from this daily contamination. Manage the heavy emotions and the chaotic thoughts I've entrusted to you with absolute, fierce vigilance. Do not just passively accept every anxious thought that enters your head. Challenge those dark thoughts immediately. Evict the lies of insecurity and unworthiness from the sacred temple of your mind. Root out the weeds of envy and pride the very second you feel them sprouting in your chest. I watch as your emotions plummet when you begin to feel envy and rejection from people, even from those who claim to love you. Instead of seeing the good in you, they constantly seek ways to make you feel bad, revisiting the past and bringing back memories to hurt and shatter your spirit. Do not let anyone ruin your efforts to do good. Don't let them mess with your feelings. I am calling you to a much higher standard of living. Be a faithful, strict keeper of your internal temple. The absolute importance of what you meditate on day and night cannot be overstated. If you meditate constantly on your mounting bills, your physical flaws, and your past failures, you will harvest a massive crop of panic and depression. Instead, fill your mind entirely with my eternal promises. Plant thick seeds of genuine kindness every single day, even when you feel completely exhausted and misunderstood. When you give, let your heart overflow with generosity and keep your deeds silent, known only to me. Speak kindly and don't say things that could hurt others. Don't compare them to anyone or hurt their feelings. Guard your emotional energy carefully. You are spending massive amounts of time worrying about the opinions of people who did not create you and cannot save you. Reclaim your focus right now. Let my light illuminate your path and lead you to joy and optimism. Notice the profound difference when you start your morning focused on my love rather than immediately checking your phone for the latest crisis. Your heart is an incredibly precious resource. Stewardship of that heart requires immense courage and discipline. Let me heal the hurts marking your heart. Bring me all your heavy loads and worries. I will carry them. Give me full access to the deepest, most guarded rooms of your soul. Allow my Holy Spirit to sweep away the thick dust of resentment and the heavy cobwebs of your past traumas. You will find that a clean, well-managed heart is the absolute strongest fortress you could ever possess against the relentless storms of this broken world. Trust in my word and follow the promises I've made to you. Remember, you're mine. I'll wrap you in my love and stand up to anyone who tries to upset you. My beloved child, hear me clearly on this vital truth. You absolutely cannot fulfill your massive, God-given destiny in total isolation. I see you pulling away from the people around you. I watch you staying home, avoiding gatherings, and trying to live your faith entirely on your own because you have been deeply hurt by other believers in the past. You have used that past betrayal as a convenient excuse to build a high, thick wall around yourself, falsely believing that isolation is the same thing as safety. It is not safety. It is a dark, lonely prison. I did not create you to be a solitary island trying to survive the raging storms completely alone. I created you to be a vital, functioning part of a much larger, incredibly powerful family. The immense strength found in the genuine fellowship of the saints is not optional. It is absolutely necessary for your spiritual survival. When you are feeling weak or scared, know that I am there to refresh your faith, strength, and hope. Do not forsake the vital importance of gathering together and offering mutual encouragement to your brothers and sisters. When you are feeling incredibly weak, when your faith is severely shaken by a terrible medical diagnosis or a sudden job loss, you desperately need the strong faith of another believer to physically hold you up. I have purposefully placed people in your life to offer love and support you at all times. Look around you right now. Who are the people I have strategically positioned in your path? Do not push them away because of your own pride or deep-seated insecurity. Serve others selflessly as a direct, physical reflection of my boundless service to you. When you wash the feet of someone who is struggling, when you buy groceries for a neighbor who has lost their job, or when you sit quietly with a friend who is grieving, you are being my literal hands and feet on this broken earth. Step out of your comfortable, quiet bubble today. Engage fully with the body of Christ, even when it feels incredibly messy and deeply inconvenient. The people around you now will be different soon. I'm working on transforming them. Do not waste your time or energy pointing out the mistakes in the people you care about. Understand that true, unshakable unity is a massively powerful witness to an aggressively divided, angry world. When the world sees you loving people who are completely different from you, forgiving people who have deeply wronged you, and bearing the heavy burdens of the weak, they will instantly recognize my undeniable presence in your life. Finding your secure place in the eternal family of God will completely cure the painful, knowing loneliness you feel late at night. You are surrounded by a massive, invisible cloud of witnesses, and you are deeply connected to millions of believers across the globe. Take the bold initiative to reach out to someone today. Send that text message of encouragement you have been putting off. Make that difficult phone call to mend a broken relationship. You'll be the channel for healing to reach many people you know. Do not wait for someone else to make the first move. I am directly commanding you to be the initiator of peace and connection. By my side they cannot make you stumble, for I will be with you, guarding and loving you forever. You need the collective strength of my body, and just as importantly, my body desperately needs your specific, unique gifts to function properly. Rejoin the ranks of my army. Lock arms tightly with your fellow soldiers. Together, you will easily withstand the fiercest attacks of the enemy and advance my glorious kingdom into the darkest corners of your community. Let my light illuminate your path and lead you to joy and optimism. My desire is to see your heart filled with joy and hope. My warrior, wake up and realize immediately that your daily struggle is not against flesh and blood. You are wasting your precious energy fighting the wrong battles. When your boss aggressively criticizes you, when your spouse starts a bitter argument over money, or when your child outright rebels against your rules, you instantly react with human anger. Stop fighting physical people. The irritating coworker and the frustrating family member are not your true enemies. There is a very real, invisible spiritual war raging violently all around you, and you are walking onto the battlefield completely unarmed. I command you right now to stop relying on your clever arguments, your sharp tongue, and your human logic. You cannot win a spiritual battle with physical weapons. I'm giving you such strength that you shall tread upon serpents and scorpions, deceitful demons, and all hosts of evil, and nothing, and no one shall harm you. Put on the heavy, impenetrable belt of my absolute truth right now. Wrap it tightly around your waist to hold everything else together. When the world tries to feed you toxic lies about your identity or your future, my truth will keep you firmly grounded. Fasten the heavy breastplate of righteousness firmly to your chest. Your own good deeds are not strong enough to protect your vital organs from the enemy's direct hits. Only my perfect righteousness, freely given to you, can completely guard your heart from the crushing weight of guilt and shame. Lace up your heavy boots with the readiness of the gospel of peace. You cannot stand firm on slippery, chaotic ground without the deep traction that my peace provides. When panic erupts in your workplace or your home, your feet will remain solidly planted, completely unmovable. Take up the massive shield of faith immediately to quench every single fiery dart the enemy shoots directly at your mind. You will launch flaming arrows of sudden doubt, intense fear, and dark depression at you when you least expect it. Do not let those arrows hit their target. Raise your shield of absolute trust in my promises. Arm yourself with the shield of faith and the sword of my word. Place the solid helmet of salvation securely on your head to protect your incredibly vulnerable thoughts. Your mind is the primary battlefield, and you must aggressively guard it from the invading forces of anxiety. Finally, grip the sharp sword of the Spirit, which is my eternal word, tightly in your hand. This is your only offensive weapon. Do not keep your sword sheathed while you are actively being attacked. Speak my scriptures loudly into the darkness. Immerse yourself in the scriptures and keep your heart fervent in faith. The forces of darkness will retreat as your blessings unfold. Praying always with all prayer and supplication is the very air you must breathe on this chaotic battlefield. Do not wait until you are completely surrounded and bleeding to finally call out for my air support. Stay in constant, active communication with my headquarters. Report your struggles directly to me. Ask for specific tactical wisdom. I've heavily equipped you with the most advanced, indestructible armor in the entire universe, but it will not do you any good if you leave it sitting in the closet. Suit up entirely every single morning before your feet even hit the floor. Stand your ground boldly, fight fiercely using my massive strength, and watch the terrified enemy flee from your presence. My child, stop staring in pure panic at your empty bank account and your mounting pile of bills. I see the tight knot of intense fear that forms in your stomach every time you have to calculate your monthly budget. You are completely terrified that you are going to run out of money, out of resources, and out of options. Take a deep, slow breath right now and look directly at me. I am Jehovah Jireh, your absolute, unfailing provider in every single season of your life. I am your God, strong and jealous, who safeguards the integrity of his children and supplies their needs. I have never abandoned you to starve, and I am certainly not going to start abandoning you today. Look out your window at the simple birds of the air and the fragile lilies of the field as my undeniable witnesses. Do they frantically hustle, grind, and worry themselves sick about tomorrow? No, they simply exist in my care, and I feed them and clothe them with breathtaking beauty. How much more valuable are you to me than a simple bird? Seek my eternal kingdom first, before you seek a paycheck, before you seek a promotion, and before you seek financial security. When you completely align your heart with my divine purposes, I promise you that all these material things will be effortlessly added to your life. Break the suffocating, dark spirit of lack in your home right now with a powerful heart of radical gratitude. You have trained your mind to only see what is missing. Stop complaining about the car that is old, and start violently thanking me that you have transportation. Stop stressing over the small size of your house, and aggressively praise me for the solid roof over your head. Gratitude is the master key that instantly unlocks the massive vaults of heaven. Your financial worries will be resolved, your debt settled, and all your financial burdens removed. Trust me completely for your daily bread, and trust me for everything far beyond it. I am not a God of bare minimums. I am a God of overwhelming, jaw-dropping abundance. But you must release your tight, fearful grip on the resources I have already given you. The incredible abundance you desire only flows freely from a genuinely generous heart. When you hold on to your money with a clenched, terrified fist, you actively stop the flow of my provision. Open your hands right now. Be radically generous with the little you currently have, and watch how I miraculously multiply it. Scarcity will not find a place in your home or in the lives of your children or their children, for I will shower you with abundance in every aspect of your life. Do not rely on your fragile human employer, the unstable government, or the chaotic stock market as your ultimate source of security. They will all eventually fail you. I am your only true, unshakable source. When the economy crashes and the world completely panics, you will stand perfectly secure, knowing that your personal economy is firmly attached to the limitless resources of heaven. Bring all of your deep financial fears directly to my altar today. Lay down the heavy calculator. Stop trying to desperately figure out the impossible math in your tired head. I specialize in doing the impossible. Obey my voice, work with intense integrity, give with radical joy, and watch Jehovah Jireh pour out a massive blessing that you literally will not have enough room to contain. I have promised to completely supply every single one of your needs, And now I am giving you the miraculous opportunity to actively trigger that massive provision through your radical generosity. I am inviting you to aggressively partner with me today, ensuring this urgent, life-saving message reaches the terrified ears of those who have been ignoring me for years. When you give from your heart, you are physically dropping heavenly manna directly into the starving mouths of souls who are completely lost in the brutal wilderness. Bring the whole tithe and offering into my storehouse, and test me in this. Watch how violently I throw open the windows of heaven and pour out a massive blessing you cannot even contain. This is a critical, prophetic moment for your personal finances. Your immediate obedience is the absolute master key to unlocking the massive breakthrough you have been crying out for. I completely command the dark spirit of lack to break off your life right now, and I release a supernatural, 100-fold multiplication over every single dollar you sow. Prove your absolute trust in my boundless provision right now. Boldly support this kingdom work through a super thanks by becoming a member, or via the PayPal link in the description. Lie warrior, you are standing on the very edge of your promised land. Do not drop your sword now. Do not silence my voice when I am actively preparing to hand you the ultimate victory. It pierces my heart with profound disappointment when you endure the agonizing fire, only to walk away mere moments before the glorious harvest. Anchor your soul to me for these final moments. Your magnificent finish line is right in front of you. Do not quit now. My precious one, it is time for you to completely change how you interact with me. For far too long, you have been absolutely satisfied with merely knowing about me, rather than truly, deeply knowing me. You have settled for a dry, predictable religious routine. You read a quick devotion, you sit quietly in a building once a week, and you try your absolute best to be a good, moral person. But your heart remains entirely dry, hungry, and desperately longing for something infinitely more real. Stop settling for the shallow, lukewarm waters of mere religion. I am forcefully inviting you today to step completely out of your safe, comfortable boat and dive headfirst into the massive, crashing ocean of my raw, unfiltered glory. I do not want your empty, light rituals. I want your burning, passionate heart. I want you to vividly experience the heavy, breathtaking weight of my actual presence right in the middle of your ordinary living room. When you truly encounter my glory, absolutely everything in your fragile life instantly changes. The heavy, dark depression that has smothered you for years completely evaporates in the blinding light of my face. The toxic, crippling addictions that have held you firmly hostage instantly lose their dark power. You cannot stand directly in the blazing fire of my holy presence and remain the exact same broken person. I am actively calling you to a profound, undeniable transfiguration that happens exclusively when you rest quietly in my shadow. Develop a fierce, insatiable hunger for much more than just the bare minimum of spiritual survival. Ask me to aggressively rip the heavy veil entirely off your tired eyes. Ask me to show you the massive, stunning reality of the spiritual kingdom that surrounds you every single second of the day. When you finally begin to behold my true majesty, you are instantly and permanently changed into that exact same glorious image. I know you feel incredibly ordinary, entirely flawed, and completely unworthy of experiencing the raw power of the Creator of the universe. But my glory is not reserved exclusively for perfect people. It is actively drawn to deeply broken, humble people who simply offer me their honest, shattered pieces. Stop hiding from me. Stop pretending that you have your life completely together. Bring me your messy, confusing, painful reality, and watch how I immediately completely overwhelm it with my stunning grace. Create a quiet, sacred space in your busy, noisy schedule today. Turn off the loud television, silence the ringing phone, and sit in absolute, intentional stillness. Wait patiently for me. Listen closely for the profound, heavy silence that always precedes my voice. When you truly feel the warm, thick blanket of my perfect peace wrap entirely around your tired shoulders, you will instantly know that you have encountered the living God. You will finally catch a breathtaking, jaw-dropping glimpse of the absolute majesty that permanently awaits you in eternity, and you will never, ever be satisfied with a shallow, ordinary life again. I am here, right now, actively waiting to reveal my heart entirely to you. Open your eyes and see me. My beautiful, deeply beloved child, we have reached the absolute end of this direct conversation, but we are standing at the exact, glorious beginning of your entirely new life. I have laid my entire, bleeding heart completely open before you today. I have explicitly named your deepest, darkest struggles. I have systematically dismantled your loudest, most terrifying fears, and I have aggressively shattered the heavy, rusted chains that have held you firmly back for years. The massive, golden doors of my infinite, unconditional grace are currently standing absolutely wide open directly in front of you. There are no heavy locks, there are no hidden fees, and there are absolutely no impossible conditions to meet. I am issuing my final, passionate plea to your tired soul right now. Do not harden your fragile heart today. Do not turn your back and slowly walk away from the massive, life-changing freedom that is currently staring you directly in the face. You have absolutely tried everything else this broken, loud world has to offer, and it has consistently left you feeling completely empty, entirely exhausted, and profoundly alone. It is finally time to come fully home. The deep, absolute peace that completely passes all human understanding is actively waiting for you right at the threshold of this open door. All you have to do is take one simple, genuine step of absolute surrender. Say yes to me right now. Say it clearly out loud in the quiet of your room. Yes, Lord. I am entirely yours. I completely surrender my heavy burdens, my broken past, and my terrifying future directly into your capable hands. The exact second that tiny, beautiful word leaves your trembling lips, a massive, explosive celebration instantly erupts in the highest courts of heaven. The angels are literally rejoicing over your magnificent return. Your beautiful, restored life starts entirely anew the very moment you truly, deeply listen to this message and yield your heart. All of your past mistakes are instantly, permanently erased as if they absolutely never happened. Your heavy, crushing record is completely wiped clean by my own hand. You are instantly adopted, perfectly cleansed, and heavily empowered for a brilliant, unstoppable future. As you step forward into the reality of tomorrow, you will never, ever walk alone again. Write this massive, unbreakable promise permanently onto your soul. I will never, ever leave you, and I will never, ever forsake you. Even when you inevitably stumble, I will be right there to catch you. Even when the chaotic world fiercely shakes, I will be your solid, completely unmovable rock. Take a deep, final breath of complete relief. The exhausting, lonely war is entirely over. The relentless, painful striving is finally finished. You are perfectly safe. You are entirely forgiven. You are massively loved. Welcome home, my precious child. Welcome home. You have fully accepted my warm invitation to come home. But there are millions of my precious children still wandering entirely lost in the freezing dark who desperately need to hear this very message. I am directly commanding you to link arms with me right now, turning your profound, tearful gratitude into immediate physical action to help violently rescue the remaining lost sheep. Your financial support is the massive, roaring wind in the sails of this ministry, carrying the heavy, golden seeds of my gospel across the vast, chaotic oceans of the internet. He who actively gathers crops receives his wages and entirely gathers fruit for eternal life. so that the sower and the reaper may be absolutely glad together. Do not close this video and walk away unchanged. The global harvest is massively ripe. The hour is terrifyingly late, and I have specifically appointed you for this exact rescue mission. As you sow generously into this fertile ground today, I will violently guard your home, fiercely accelerate your personal healing, and pour out unshakable favor upon your children's children. Take immediate, bold action to spread my word right now. Give a super thanks. Join as a channel member, or sow your powerful seed directly through the PayPal link in the description. Amen.